Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of living in New Westminster or New West BC. I'm also going to talk about the different neighborhoods in New West and which ones I would choose as a single person or as a family. Now, if this is your first time to the channel, my name is Hasan. I make educational real estate content to help you in your real estate journey. I also make content to help you make your move in and around Vancouver and its surrounding cities. If that sounds interesting to you, hit the subscribe button. Don't miss a future video. Real quick before we get started, you're gonna wanna stick around to the end of the video because I'm gonna tell you what I hate about New West, and it literally will make or break your decision as to whether this is a possibility as a home for you. So to get you familiar with where New West is situated, it's essentially located on the southeast corner. It's tucked away the southeast corner of Metro Vancouver, bordered by the Fraser River. So when we look on the other side of the Fraser River, we see Fraser Valley, we see Surrey on that side. If we head west, we head into South Vancouver and the River District, which we've talked about on this channel. And we're very, very close to East Burnaby. We're just southeast of East Burnaby. Places such as Metrotown, for example, in central Burnaby or Burnaby South, essentially. It's about a 15-minute drive. So one of the pros I would say about New West definitely is its central location. So because of where New West is situated, we have extremely quick access to Burnaby, to Vancouver. For myself personally, I do the bulk of my work in those two cities. So for me, it's very easy to commute there. As I just mentioned though, we are bordered by the Fraser River, which overlooks Surrey, and my family lives out in Surrey. So it's very easy for me to get to the Fraser Valley. And as someone who does work in all areas, Metro Vancouver and the Fraser Valley, I couldn't get more central than New West as a location. So for me, it's perfect. I can also get out to Coquitlam if I need to do work out that way. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about the different areas. So myself personally, I live in an area called Quayside, which is basically right in downtown New West and right along the river. The place where I live, it's a beautiful area. For myself personally, I grew up in Richmond and I've always grown up around water. I was born in Victoria, a bit of an island baby. I moved to Richmond where obviously there's water all around you. So for me, it's important. Being close to water is actually important to me when it comes from a livability standpoint. I can step outside my door. I can do a nice 30-minute walk right along the river. So it's a perfect spot for me in that regard. Now, the negative thing about where I live in Quayside is I live right at the New West SkyTrain station. Now, that can get me into downtown Vancouver in approximately 35 minutes. So I love the quick access to downtown. But having said that, SkyTrain in general tends to bring a certain type of a crowd to it, especially at night. And I think for certain people at certain times, especially late at night at that SkyTrain station, it's not the safest place to be. For myself as a single male on my own, I don't have a family to worry about. I have no problems with it, and I don't have issues going to the SkyTrain station. If I was a family, I'd be looking at maybe some of the more single family type of areas. The West End would be a good spot. Queen's Park as well. There's some other areas as well as you head a little bit further westward and away from the river. As you get away from the river and the SkyTrain stations, both here at Quayside and at Columbia, you get a bit more of a family-oriented environment. So I would look to those areas. Again, as a single person myself, I love where I live. I think it's well situated, and I can get in and out of the city quite quickly by taking Stewardson Way or taking Front Street to get me to Highway 1. Now, another positive about New West that I really like, outside of it being in a central location, is it's a very laid back sort of atmosphere, and I find people on the street, people you don't know, strangers, are generally friendly towards you, the type of people to say hello to you as you pass them on the street. I didn't really get that sort of camaraderie when I lived in Richmond, but I feel that there is more of it here in New West. We have an industrial vibe here. So for example, I live right by the train station, and when I look outside or when I go for a walk on Front Street, sometimes I feel like this is, in a very small way, so don't take my words out of context, but in a very small way, this is a small piece of how certain areas of New York might look, where you have residential kind of flanked by the train that runs right through the city. So I like the vibe of New West. I like that it's casual. I like that the people are nice. So this may be a draw for you if you're thinking of living in New West. Now, what neighborhood I want to talk about that gets slept on a lot, and understandably, is Queensborough. If you are a young family and you're looking at property values and you really liked what you saw in Quayside or downtown New West, but here I am telling you that that's maybe not the best place for families, I would consider Queensborough. Now, Queensborough is an island in and of itself, part of New West, in between Richmond and we'll call it New West proper. Now, Queensborough, it is more of an industrial type of area, or historically it has been, but as of late, there has been a lot of new development, new construction, especially townhome developments coming to Queensborough, and with good real estate value considering you're on the Metro Vancouver side. So I would consider Queensborough as an option. Traffic can be a bit of a nightmare there, especially if it's rush hour. And also in New West, traffic is pretty tough to deal with during rush hour because there are only a few really main outlets out. You have Royal Avenue, which gets backed up, and that'll take you to Surrey. You have Columbia or Front Street, which will take you to Highway 1, so that can get backed up too during rush hour. But with Queensborough, when you're your own island, you kind of only have a couple ways out heading towards Richmond or towards New West. So traffic's a little iffy there, but the real estate value is good. And there's not a lot of townhomes in general in New West. So if that's a product that you're looking for, you're going to find the bulk of it in Queensborough. The good thing is a lot of it are newer inventory or newer product and good quality inventory at good prices. Okay, so now if you are someone that's looking at New West as a possible investment, I wouldn't invest where I live in Quayside. I wouldn't invest in Queensborough that I just talked about. I wouldn't invest in the West End or Queen's Park that I talked about for families. I would be looking at the Brewery District, which is also known as Sapperton. Now, the Brewery District is located right near Royal Columbian Hospital, and Royal Columbian Hospital is going through a massive upgrade right now. $1.5 billion is being spent towards an upgrade of this hospital, and the Brewery District is located right there. There are a few towers now by West Group and plans for more that are actually in construction as we speak. From an investment angle, I would absolutely be looking at that area, especially if you're looking at condos. To give you an idea, condos are renting almost $2,100 for a one-bedroom in New West, almost $2,700 for a two-bedroom. And when you're that close to the hospital, you're going to get a good quality tenant that is basically like if you get a doctor or a medical professional, they just want to come home and lay their heads down. They are often working really strange hours, etc. They have small pockets of time to just get home, sleep, and get back to work. So you'll get a good quality tenant. So I think long term, it's a really good area to put your money down. Again, especially if you're looking at a condo, because that area is slated to grow heavily. Now, I said at the top of this video that at the end of the video, I was going to tell you what I hate about New West, and this could be the deal breaker for you, and it's the train noise. And we're going to talk about the train noise in Sapperton or in the Brewery District. Now, one thing that's really important for you to know about New West and the train noise is there is what is called a whistle cessation program in New West. And what it is it's a study, it's a program where New West is looking at which stops along the train can they essentially have the whistles not need to be required, right? So cessation of the whistles. Now, they can't blanket it out to every stop, but what I can tell you is where I live in Quayside, I'm part of the whistle cessation program, and they don't blow their horns here. So I don't really ever hear the trains blowing their horns where I live. That was the deciding factor for me choosing to live here and not living in the Brewery District. Now, if I look out my window, I'm actually right over top of the train station, directly above it. So when I moved here a couple of years ago, I learned what the word shunting means. And this is basically, I guess, when trains are, I can't explain it. They're smashing into each other, and it often happens in the middle of the night. So I had to get used to train shunting where I'm at, but I don't have to get used to the train whistle. Jumping back to Brewery District, there's no cessation program. That horn is blaring at all hours of the day and night. I've know people that live in that area. I've had clients that live in that area, and I always tell them that, look, if you're going to purchase in that area, you're going to have to get used to the whistle. Now, obviously, tenants in the scenario where they're working at the hospital, they will take that trade-off because of how close they can be to where they live. But if you're choosing a place to live and you're a light sleeper, you're worried about that train noise, I would avoid Brewery District until the cessation program gets rolled out to that area. I would avoid it, and I would look at an area like where I live in Quayside. So guys, I hope you learned something in this video and you figured out whether New West could be a possible place for you to move to. If you did, I would love it if you could hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. What that does is it takes this video and it sends it out to more people so they can learn as well. Also, if you need any real estate help yourself and you live in the Vancouver area, you can book me through the Calendly link. It's right at the top of the description box. We can have a call, we can chat about real estate, or we can chat about anything else. But outside of that, thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.